The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work.
Outside, clear.
Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, however, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching or listening to the program. This is The Pits Are Open, brought to you by Speed Sport, your one-stop shop for automotive racing news, speedsport.com, speedsport1.com. Also by Redline Ace, your one-stop shop for all racing graphics, speedsport.com, Speedsport, and redlineace.com. Redline Ace is literally located minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so we love going there. And hello, Alex, our extraordinary producer, and we have gorgeous George in today doing a little training, which is wonderful. George is helping me on another program that we do called Race Central right after this program, and we'll talk to you about that. In fact, we have the host of that coming on at 4:55, Alex. Kurt's going to jump in, give us a little promo of his show. So that's good. We do one more. It's a trifecta. We do one more, 3 shows in one day. That would be wonderful. Hey, an exciting weekend at Milwaukee. I'm so thrilled for that race. I will tell you without question, I think it was the best race of the IndyCar season. I mean, we had everything. We had cars spinning. We had cars loose. We had cars crash. It was wonderful. And, of course, we are very partial to young Christian Rasmussen, and he got his first win Sunday. And it was daring. It was bold. It was fearless. Nobody. He was losing that car so many times. You can see it on the in-car cam, and he's going through a corner, and it snaps loose, and his hands are going like this, and he kept it going, passed Alex Palou with 15 laps to go, and won the race. We're so thrilled for Christian Rasmussen and Ed Carpenter Racing. Christian's only one of 2 IndyCar drivers that has won all the development series. He won USF 2000, he won Pro 2000, and he won the Indy Next, which is like AAA baseball championship. So, I mean, he's got an incredible pedigree, and he's helped us before. He's been on the show before. We did an event together when we launched our book in Indianapolis last year, and he came and he was our guest. So just an amazing time, and I was so thrilled. So, because, Alex wrapped up the championship the week before, so that's done. He's the champion. It was wonderful. Alexander Rossi finished 4th. So first time all year, first time in many years, Ed Carpenter's team had a 2 top 5 finishes, 1st and 4th. It was exciting. And everybody loved the fact that Christian won. And he did a great burnout. He burned those tires right off. So that was wonderful. Hey, here's an announcement. This is far too delayed, but better late than never, as they say. IndyCar announced today that they're launching yet another new iRacing platform. The last one was ill-planned, and flawed horribly. I think the company went out of business. I think the company they were working with went bankrupt. Well, this is iRacing.com. They have announced a multi-year agreement where iRacing Studios will release an IndyCar title game for PlayStation and Xbox and Steam in the second half of 2026. And it's going to be good. They know how to do it. iRacing knows how to do it. So instead of, trying to work together with these smaller companies that don't have the technology or don't have the financial resource, IndyCar has finally made a great choice, and a lot of people have been clamoring for iRacing ever since the announcement came out a few years ago, and then it was doomed for failure. So before bringing on our first guest, we got to do a little pay some bills here. This next segment is brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union. If you're looking for a smart, faith-aligned way to grow your savings, listen up right now. The America's Christian Credit Union has a 12-month certificate that's paying, are you sitting down? I'm glad, 4.75%. Unbelievable. Limited time, deposits up to $1 million. You can get started with little as $1,000. It's called a term certificate, which is very similar to a CD, but it has lots of mission behind it. So don't wait. Lock in before the rate drops. Go to americaschristiancu.com/pitch so they know it came from here. americaschristiancu.com/pitch to get started. And American Christian Credit Union is backed by NCUA, financially insured. All right, I'm so excited. Our first guest today Joining us, one of the most exciting voices in drag racing is Nitro Alley. Known for her high energy presence, her relentless passion for the sport, Alley has built a reputation both as a promoter and a true ambassador for the drag racing culture. Whether it's the pits or the staging lanes, she's out there connecting fans with raw power, speed, and the adrenaline we all love about drag racing. So get ready, because whenever Nitro Alley is around, the action's never far behind. So welcome for the first time to the Pits Are Open, Nitro Alley. Hey, Alley.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am great, and I am so excited.
Well, this
is
awesome.
To be here with you. Thank you.
Well, we only met recently, but through social media, you get a good idea of what's going on, and I really enjoy what you're doing. I can tell you enjoy what you're doing. But I've got to say, for those watching and listening, whether it's live or Spotify or YouTube or whomever, your day job, which isn't in a day, but your day is vastly different than your on-track persona. So what do you do when you're not at drag strips and drag racing? What do you do?
So my primary job, the one that actually pays my bills, is I am actually a deputy coroner. So I am a sworn deputy sheriff. However, I'm not what you consider, I call myself a fake one, because I do have an emphasis on death investigations. So everything that you guys are watching on TV, those, movies and shows that, everyone stays up late watching, that's actually what I do for a living.
NCIS. My son loves NCIS, and we love the former coroner on NCIS, Ducky. So you're the last person they call, right? You're like, come on out here.
I am the last responder. I am not a first responder.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been with the Sheriff's Department over 10 years, and I've been a deputy coroner for about 6.5 years. And it's something I love. A lot of people look at me going, how do you do that? But when you look through it through scientific eyes, and you're able to give that family that closure that they need, because they've just gone through the worst time of their life with losing a loved one, that's actually a gift to me. And, it is hard. There are those days that, I have to talk, to coworkers. No one likes dealing with children or very tragic situations, but it's something that I felt I was called to do. Something that I absolutely love doing, and I'll continue to do for a long time, and so a lot of people go, well, what's with the racing? Well, that's my healthy coping mechanism. I'll put it that way. It's something that I will do to decompress on the weekends.
That's so funny, because racing is my healthy coping mechanism for ministry. So you got to have something.
And it's great, because, and that's what I love about racing too, is because and that's what, obviously you are in ministry, Christian, and racing is one of those things where God is actually embraced. You can talk about God, be a Christian, be pro-America, and it's welcome. And that's one thing I truly love about, the community of racing.
Sure. So, how did you get in? I mean, I know there are a lot of women love racing. I'm not questioning that. Drag racing, maybe not as much as other kind of racing. So how did drag racing get your attention? What was the thing that was interesting to you about drag racing?
Well, I grew up around it. My father used to race go-karts. And when I was a little munchkin, I remember sitting on his lap, and we're watching it on the black and white TV. And so I was just kind of around it. And then my children actually raced. I see my daughter is actually on watching right now. But I have 4 kids go through the junior dragster program. Yeah, Megan is on there. And, and I had a blast. They had a blast. They learned a lot. And then I got a little bit more involved with some of the faster cars. Just started doing some stuff for NHRA just for fun. I was not employed. I did it because I genuinely loved it. And that has just kind of evolved over the years. And that's kind of how Nitro Alley was formed, actually about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was almost by accident. But, here I am and enjoying it. But a lot of it had to do with the inspiration from my father. A lot of little girls know that, how important their father is with some of their life choices and things that they do. And of course, my children, I mean, they just made the greatest memories for me. And it's something that I love, is seeing those junior dragsters, those kids, even though I'm working with the big boys and girls, I love seeing the little kids and the
Mm,
passion that they have because they really are what are going to keep this sport great and keep it growing.
for sure. Well, hey, my first exposure to motorsports were a local quarter midget track that my dad took us to, the same place that Joey Logano cut his teeth on when he was a wee tyke. But my first car was a '67 Camaro Super Sport, 4-speed, 327, and that car raced at Connecticut Dragway. I'm not ashamed to say that. So drag racing was the first thing I was ever actually physically involved with, and so I really do have a special place in my heart for drag racing, and the old legend guys, Don Garlitz, I love that. Soxon Martin, Don Prudhomme, Tom McEwen. The list goes on and on of the old timers. It was such a fun era. So you say Nitro Alley only was birthed a couple of years ago. What's the genesis there? How did that happen?
You know what? It was funny because I'll just say I was adopted, if you will, by the Coletta
Yeah,
team. They've just been so kind to me. I'm very grateful for their generosity, and kindness. And, there was always the backup girls, on some of the nostalgia races. And it was
sure.
my lieutenant who dared me to wear a very flashy outfit, not thinking I would actually do it. And I did. And it took off like wildfire. And then people started asking questions. I actually knew what I was talking about. And so then it just started to evolve. I go, well, I need to do something with this. I can't have my real name out there. I don't want it
Sure,
associated with
sure.
my employment. So Nitro Alley was born and here she is and seems to be growing and doing okay.
And the sheriff's department is cool.
They are fine. Don't cross it. I won't say where I work. Just we kind of keep those things separate. But I'm very proud of where I work. I'm very proud of my sheriff. But again, we kind of keep the personal separated from the professional work. But I will
Yeah,
say
yeah.
the sheriff has gone to races. He knows what it's all about. They are supportive.
Oh, that's cool.
But again, I just try to
Cool.
keep those things separate because here's the other thing too. In my line of work, we see a lot of street racing, and street racing, as you know,
Sure.
people get injured, they get killed. I respond to those. And if anyone knows, that was the reason why Wally Parks founded the NHRA back in 1951 was to create a safe and controlled environment. So for me, I can advocate for the sport, but I can also go, hey, from a corner standpoint, you need to quit with this thing. Here's some great opportunities for you to, feel the exhilaration. If you've got that need for speed, do it on the track and not on the
Right.
streets.
Right. I mean, I can speak to that. Before my '67 Camaro days, we have in our town a perfect quarter mile plus run of straight highway. And when it
Mhm.
got really dark, midnight, 1 o'clock, the street guys would come out, and all that ended when there was an accident and a police canine was killed by one of the street racers.
Oh,
That shut that down forever. So it's good. Now so in a much different way, because I don't compare the two of you, but when I was a kid, a young lad, I was awestruck by the Hearst shifter girl, Linda Vaughn. I was like, oh my gosh, So, and she went to all the
mhm.
races, and then in 2015, I actually got to meet Linda at an event that we were at, and I've seen her several times since then. Tell us a little bit, like, was she at all an inspiration to you? I mean, is there anything about what Linda Vaughn did? I mean, different day, different era, but anything that kind of crosses over to Nitro Alley days, or
I knew of her. I've met her several times. We did some photos and things like that at PRI. Um, Other people, not her, but other people have kind of thrown around that idea that, hey, maybe you should kind of transition into something like her. I'm definitely open to that opportunity. However,
yeah,
I don't want to compromise my
right,
passion of,
right,
my professional work.
right,
So,
right.
she has, as I've grown into this role, definitely been an inspiration. Like I said, she's very classy, met her many times, and I'm looking forward to hopefully doing some work with her in the future.
Good. I mean, and it's funny too. You mentioned the nature, the folks that are at drag races or NASCAR races, even IndyCar races, much more, pro-America crowd, much more, traditional value kind of people. So it's amazing to me that you can do what you do and not get a lot of hate from that on the other side, the other side of the spectrum. Does that ever come up or?
Not really. I mean, because you got to be a little sexy. That's okay. But my motto is keep it classy and not trashy. And so that is really important to me. Have a little fun with it. But, I want to make my children proud. Where they go, that's my mom. Not go, oh my gosh, that's my mom. What is she doing? There's a fine line there, and it is racing. You got to have a little bit of fun, but you want to be respectful. And so I don't get a lot of flack. When I did bring Sheriff with me, I go, I don't dress how you see me at work. And he was great. His wife was great. He goes, you know what? You're not doing anything wrong. You're having fun. It's the culture. Good. We understand, and was very supportive of it. So, but again, I maintain just that level of professionalism that is important to me as well.
Sure. Allie, hang on for just a second. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to you. Race fans, when it comes to standing out on and off the track, nobody does it better than Redline Ace. Located literally minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, Redline Ace is your go-to for high-performance motorsports graphics. From car wraps to team branding, helmets, trailers, much, much more. Redline Ace makes sure your look is as fast as your ride. So visit redlineace.com today and see why champions trust Redline Ace to keep their image in victory lane, and we appreciate their partnership very much. All right, back now with Nitro Allie. So give me a typical day at the track. Like you show up, and I mean, what happens? What goes on?
Well, things have changed a little bit. Before, I would just show up, walk around, take pictures, promote the sport, just talk to people, shake hands, kiss babies, if you will. But this year, NHRA has come up with a great program that's sponsored by Cornwell Tools, where they are giving me actually media credentials, and I can interview whoever I want, however I want. And I've really enjoyed that now. So I've got a great guy that comes with me. That I do interviews there on the track. Jeff Stewart, he does my video work, and I'll talk to the different drivers. I'll talk to fans, whoever I want, and really kind of promote that out there. So things have kind of changed over the past year, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. They were hoping I was going to be at Indy this upcoming weekend, but I got to pay the bills. I couldn't do it. But you will see me. I get it. Yeah. That darn thing. But you will see me at the Las Vegas race and Pomona doing that same thing. And, I always try to spend a little bit of time with the kids. Like I said, that's my heart right there. My children really made it special because they're learning so much. And what people just think there's kids in a race car putting their foot on the pedal. That is not true. These kids, in order to race those cars, these parents are making them get good grades, your curricular, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, anything like that. Your public speaking, you understand how the engine works, how the clutch works, bracket racing, the times, how to scrub time, with your dial. So these kids are very smart, and I want to give them their time to shine and hopefully gains to help them through the ranks. So that is part of my day there, and kind of shining the light on people that typically don't get the light too often, that need just that little bit of help. That's what I want to do for them.
Well, that is so cool. I think I've often thought that, I got into racing right as soon as I got to school. I went to a Skip Barber driver school where everyone goes. But I was a kid. I didn't know anything about sponsorship. I didn't know business. I didn't understand any of it. So that lasted all of about 2 years. And I've often wondered, is there a way that we could put together like an academy for young drivers? I mean, like we've had a couple times, 2-time NHRA champion Megan Myers on the program. And Megan's got incredible training and social media stuff that she offers. A lot of it she just gives it away, but you can sign up for classes if you'd like with her. But just on a larger level, it would be great if if people really wanted to go into motorsports as a driver, male or female. It'd be great if there was like an academy, like a racing college you could go to learn all the things that nobody teaches you, and you learn trial and error and falling down and scratching your knees. It would be great if we could do that, because it's a hard business. It's a hard business to break into. It's a hard business to stay in, and I think people go into it not realizing just how hard. It isn't just about mash the pedal and go. There's so much more that's happening, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and even just going back to the kids, there's so much math involved, because you're dealing with altitude, you're dealing with humidity, all of those things, track temperature, the same as the big guys. These at such a young age. And, and then the other thing too, with these kids, it's teaching them to work with their hands. And that's something I'm a huge advocate for. I know we discussed that a little bit, that, there's such an emphasis on college, and I'm not knocking college. It's a great avenue for a lot of people, but there's also a lot of people it's not a great avenue for, because they're not wired that way. My son, he's not wired that way. And he's a machinist. He works with his hands, and he's very good at it. My school, they're brilliant on the opportunities that are available in motorsports to work with your hands. So that's another thing I try to push with some of these kids, or even some of the different companies that I work with. Hey, let's bring these kids in. Let's show them what's available, so they don't have 100,000 plus in college debt. And, they're very good jobs. They can provide for a family. There's just a lot of great opportunities out there that I think we really need to draw attention to.
Yeah, for sure. And I know even at like the IndyCar level, there's a shortage of good engineers, good technicians. And, really, it's funny because for so long as a nation, we push college. I'm not against college. But you know what? The big AI revolution, AI is going to take jobs. AI is never going to replace a plumber. AI is never going to replace an electrician, a mechanic. These are just people. Those jobs are going to live past AI. They're not going to be taken away. So I push trades all the time. I think it's safe. I think there's value to it. You're always going to have a job, unless you're a mess up, but you're a mess up in anything, you're not going to succeed, right? So that's really good. Any moments of like any starstruck moments? Did you meet anybody? You go, oh my gosh, I just met so and so. I mentioned to you the first time I met Mario Andretti. I was like, oh my gosh, I'll never wash his hand again. Anybody like that for you?
You know what? There's been a couple, but most recently, it's more in your car world instead of mine. Is Angela Savage, and and I know she wasn't a racer, but her father was. And just hearing her story and her, tragedy, everything that she went through was so inspiring to me. And, we had corresponded via email, via text. And when I met her in person at PRI last year, I was actually starstruck. And if anybody watching, if you have the opportunity to meet her, she is the most beautiful human inside and out that you could ever hope to meet. And I don't want to ruin her story for those that don't know, but she will touch your heart in such a beautiful way. And I know you're familiar with her and everything, but she just really made a difference in my life without a doubt. But of course in drag racing there's been many.
I first met yeah. It's 19.
So, what about you?
Like
Who's the one that you got starstruck with?
Well, I just go back to Angela for a second, because I met Angela for the first time she came to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2015, and we met. And I remember when I was 13 in 1973, listening to the Indy 500 radio. I remember when her dad crashed. He died sometime after the crash. It wasn't at the. But so, and I have a friend who is a mad Sweet Savage fan, and has a car that looks like the replica of the exact car that Savage drove. And I mean, he was such a great driver, and people were really. I think the loss was tremendous because he was young when it happened, and I think people felt like there was so much untapped potential in Sweet Savage. And so when I met Angela for the first time in 2015, I kind of felt that way. I felt like, oh, I didn't remember met her dad, but I'm meeting his offspring, so it's pretty cool. But no, there's a lot of people. I mean, AJ Foyt, I fall apart, when I see him. Those guys that when I grew up as a kid and loved IndyCar racing, the Unser brothers, Alan Bobby, and it's just, it's cool. It's cool when you get to see your heroes, legends and and everybody's different, whether it's baseball or football or whatever. But for me, it's definitely motorsports. So, what's next? What's next in the developing saga of Nitro Alley?
Gosh, shows lately, which is exciting. I'll be starting up my podcast again here in probably the next month or two, which is Top End Talk with Nitro Alley. And I really try to focus on, just different drivers and, the personal story behind them. You can Google stats all day long. I want to know who they are and what made them into the person that they are today. But you guys will see me easily at Pomona for the finals. I'll be down in Vegas, a couple of weeks before that. I plan on attending SEMA and PRI this year. I'll be doing, a couple local car shows. And, one thing, if people are curious or just kind of where I have my hands in it a little bit, if anyone's going to be going to Indianapolis for the big go this weekend out at the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, go see Chris King. Chris King is another one of my favorite people that I truly admire. He drives the Nitro funny car, and he's self-funded. He's
oh wow
to you as well, and that'll be this weekend.
You mentioned Indianapolis Raceway Park and Lucas Oil, and we just lost Forrest Lucas recently, and I got to know him a little bit at Indianapolis. Just a sweetheart of a guy, just a great guy, somebody you can really admire, great values. Was a solid believer, so there's no question in my mind he's in heaven right now. It's a wonderful thing. But he was really one of the most influential person in grassroots racing in history. Lucas Oil is everywhere. What a memorial. Hey, Alex, we've got some comments I see coming in. You want to read some of those? Maybe they're for Allie. I'm sure they're not for me. They must be for her.
So I got a few here. Let's see. We got Mike saying hi. Frank says hi. Clint, have you thought about getting a sponsor of sort of like what Linda Vaughn, you guys talked about this, had as Miss Hurst to help with the expenses of maybe a salary of some sort? Megan chimes in. She says, we're proud.
It must be Megan's daughter Megan.
That's my daughter.
And then Mario says, that's awesome. Watching while on the way to
Mario
Indy for
Andretti's watching? What? Good. All right. Great. Hey, Allie, you know what? This time we're just about done. I told you it was going to fly by, right? It did.
I know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we'd love to have you back sometime. And thank you. Thank you for what you do, and thanks for taking time and being on the Pits Are Open. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And again, I say it every time I talk to somebody. God bless you. God bless America. God bless our military and first responders. Whoever's watching, go out and support your local drag strip racing alive. And I really appreciate your time.
Good. Thanks a bunch. Okay, everybody. Nitro Alley. We'll see you again sometime. Thank you. All right. We're going to do right now, we're going to do some promos, at least one promo for Speed Sport. Upcoming events this weekend.
Boone Speedway, September 1st through the 6th. And you've got third annual Super Nationals is coming to Boone Speedway, September 1st through the 6th. And you've got an all-access pass waiting for you on IMCA TV. This is America's largest grassroots racing event with over 1,000 competitors coming from around the country. Modified, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, and more will battle for glory at the most anticipated dirt race of the season. Get your subscription at imca.tv and check out Speed Sport 1 for bonus coverage.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Wasn't that fun? Nitro Alley. Boy, I'll tell you honestly, I understand it's a different day, but when Linda Vaughn and the Her Shifter girls were out at tracks and stuff, boy, did they attract a crowd. I mean, it was they were like superstars there at the track. So I really appreciate Nitro Alley. And she's on all the social media platforms. You get her on Instagram, I think, is probably her most active, and other things as well. We're going to have another guest coming up here in just a moment. I'm really excited about this next guest because directly related to the Christian Rasmussen story. Christian won. Maybe I should check my phone. It might be somebody who cannot be on the show. No, that's not it. Okay, good. Christian won the race on Sunday, and it was so exciting that happened. And I have to say, it was largely my meeting. Christian was largely 100%. The blessing of the next guest we're going to have. He represents a number of drivers and teams. He's a longtime attorney, and we were able to get a hold of him and get him to represent us a few years ago. And so he also represents Christian, and that's how we met. And then we had an event. Year and a half, 2 years ago, when we released our book, Spirit of Speedway. By the way, if you haven't got a copy of the Spirit of Speedway yet, what a great book. Teach your kids to reach for the stars. That's the theme of the Spirit of Speedway book. Go on Amazon. It's quick. Spirit of Speedway is the name of the book, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful children's book. It's written at about a second, third grade level, and people love it. So anyway, we had a big book release party at the Delore IndyCar Factory, and our next guest set that up with Christian Rasmussen, and Christian was the guest there, and he spoke and autographs and all that stuff. So it was really cool. It was really cool to have him. Are we out there? Are we ready for our next guest? Oh, okay. So we'll give him another second. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is a man who knows the business side of racing inside and out. He's one of the top motorsports attorneys in the country, represents drivers, teams, organizations around the country many years. He's a proud Wabash College alum. He's built a reputation as both a trusted advisor and a passionate advocate for the racing community. I want to welcome good friend Wes Zirkle. Hey, Wes.
Will, how are you, bud?
Good. How's it going?
I'm outstanding.
Boy, are you off your sugar high yet from Christian killing that race on Sunday?
No. The answer
Okay.
to that is no,
Yeah.
and nobody is. He's not off his high. I talked to Ed at about 11 o'clock. He's flying high. Everybody's great. I mean,
how could you not, right? I mean, that was the best race. I mean, I am biased because I love the kid. That was the best race all year. There wasn't another race that comes close second to that race.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, it was overwhelming. I don't mind telling you and your guest, so I wasn't able to go to St. Louis because that was Father's Day weekend, and so I went golfing with my sons, and was watching the race at home, and he had the penalty because he ran out of gas during that long caution, and I'm like, well, that's it. Yeah. And I went upstairs, and my wife and I went upstairs. I don't usually watch sporting events in bed because it gets me wound up and I can't sleep. So we go upstairs, and I look at my the IndyCar app, like, oh my gosh, he's up to like 10th. And my wife said, do you want to turn on the TV? I'm like, yeah, I think I do. And so we turned it on, and we just watched him drive through the field. And Will, when he finished third, I mean, I cheered, and I'm not afraid to tell you that. Then there was this feeling that came over my body. It was weird. I just cried.
Really?
I just busted out crying, and my wife.
You work with him, right? I mean, come on.
She put her hand on my shoulder and said, honey, I know how hard you guys have worked. This is so special. And I thought that was as good as it got this season. I did not expect this. And frankly, he didn't either. He thought he might grab a podium, at that last stop. Unbelievable.
I mean, I think everybody thought it was Alex Flow's race to lose, and I think he might have led the most laps. I mean, he was crushing it. Was there a moment? I mean, because we watch Christian time and time again. He's coming out of the car snaps, and he's doing like this, and he gets it straight. Now, I mean, that happened at least a dozen times that I saw during the race. Was there a moment where he felt like, you know what, I could do this? Did he say that at all?
I asked him, and he said no. He really thought he was fighting for a podium, and then he goes and he takes on McLaughlin and thinks, oh, wait a minute, this car is really good.
Yeah.
And because he admitted in interviews, like more people took on tires than the team expected. This was a planned strategy that if they got lucky, and we did. I mean, I felt those raindrops, and I'm like, oh, this.
I know, wasn't that crazy?
It was, and it just lasted but another few minutes. But the goal was, hey, let's go get a podium, and to finish first. I really don't think that was his plan, but he drove. I mean, he did it.
I mean, honestly, I know a lot of the drivers. I can tell you that I don't think there's a more humble, feet on the ground, solid, just basic person than Christian. Well, and I think you could tell that from the interviews. I mean, he himself was shocked that he won. I mean, it wasn't like, I expected it. He didn't at all. I was just so happy for him.
Yeah, he's got this wonderful mix of, you got to have confidence and bravado as a driver, but he's also, he knows he's new at this,
right?
And Rossi is a mentor of his, and he's got things to learn, and he knows that. And so, but it just showed me that he's every bit as good as I hoped he would be, and probably, frankly, better than I hoped he would be. And he would probably tell me, I'm as good as I think I am. But it was just a phenomenal weekend.
Well, I gotta say, hats off to Rossi. I mean, finished fourth, great for Ed Carpenter Racing. 2 top fives, happened to be a first and fourth. But you notice the first person to the car and the first person to Christian was Rossi, and you could sense looking at that was a genuine. Rossi was happy for him, and he congratulated him, and he built him up, and I felt so good about that for Rossi, because that was a lot of times, drivers, you get to them after they finish second or third, like, I should have won, I didn't win.
Yeah.
And Rossi was genuinely happy for Christian.
That was real. Those two have just always gotten along. I mean, back when Christian was driving for Andretti Indy Next is when they first met. And there was a day that Rossi, took a bunch of guys on his boat. And I think Christian might have been the only next guy. There might have maybe one other, but he's always been very friendly to Christian. And that friendship is real.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It was my favorite video of all of the ones I've seen because it wasn't just a pat on the helmet. It was genuine joy for his teammate.
Well, and it's funny too, because they're so different people. I mean, just mannerisms and how they are, they're just different. But yet you can see there's a genuine respect and affection there.
There is, and there's something about that works. When I was talking to Ed today, I said they've got this wonderful kind of a Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis kind of vibe about them, that just works so well.
Yeah, it really does. Now, I mean, Christian, too, one of the only 2 IndyCar drivers to win all 3 ladder levels, right? USF 2000, Pro 2000, Indy Next. So you had to think when he was coming up, to win those 3 championships, there's got to be something special there.
Yes.
And I think we're all waiting for him to come into his own, and we saw it on Sunday.
We did, and I have a feeling, that some of his competitors have been waiting on it as well.
Yeah.
And Scott McLaughlin's comments, I think were really genuine and nice, but it wasn't, what I've noticed this season, listen, he's had to find himself a little bit. This is his first, full season.
Yeah, right. Right.
And he's made some mistakes and he's bumped here and there, but he's learning what it is to drive an Indy car with his style.
Right.
And what I've noticed, Will, is after this weekend, the comments have gone from aggressive, crazy to hard driver, good competitor.
Yes.
That's what's changed.
Well, I was defending him with a lot of people, and some couple guests I had on the show when he and Connor had that little dust up, and I said, listen, what's surprising me about this? You had somebody in NASCAR named Dale Earnhardt. They call him the Intimidator. He wasn't afraid to push anybody off the track.
Right.
Then you had AJ Foyt, hardly a wallflower in anybody's category. I mean, he would look for stuff to do on the track. And then you had Ayrton Senna, who in the first 4 years of his career had more contact than any other Formula One driver in history. And you call these people the greatest of all time. So here's Christian putting elbows out, getting a little tough and gritty about it. Oh, it's dirty, and it's that bad, and it's unsavory. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and I agree. It's and it be candid. Listen, I've been a lawyer in motorsport for 25 years, and
Oh
I
my
love the
gosh.
business of motorsport.
Right.
But drivers are new to me.
Yeah.
And so I was, is talking to the team and learning the psychology of your driver. And as one person explained it to me, says, Wes, if he lifts in that corner, he's that guy that's afraid.
Right.
And he says he's got, if that's his corner, he's got to believe it. He's got to take it. And the guys know, oh, he's going to take that corner. Right. He's going to be elbows out. And he's like, if we want him to be aggressive, we want to bring the car home. We want him to be aggressive. Exactly. You said, Will, those great champions were not wallflowers. They were not afraid to go take that spot.
I mean, Mario Andretti said, if everything's under control, you're not going fast enough. Right. So, I mean, I think that pretty well sums it up. But again, I'm biased because a little bit of time I've had with Christian at Delora a year and a half ago, and then when you guys did the interview in May, I just love the kid. I like him. I like to be around him. I was jumping up and down on Sunday. I was going out of my, and I went, why? Oh, I wish I would have been there. Just so exciting. Now let's go back. You're on the show, not Christian. So let's talk about you a little bit.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, when you got out of Wabash,
1998.
and how long after did you start working for Zach Brown?
Oh gosh, so I did law school after Wabash, and then worked at a celebrity licensing agency called CMG Worldwide, where I worked on the estates of Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Babe Ruth, and worked on Evernham Motorsports licensing program.
Wow.
My first ever motorsports deal was the Aerosmith car. I think that was in 2001, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to Zach in 2004. It was November of 2004 when I joined JMI, and it was a nothing agency. I was the 28th employee in the company's history. There weren't 28 of us in the building. I was just the 28th in the company's history. And we were in a Forsyth's old shop, and my office had no windows, and it was by the warehouse door. So every time somebody opened the door, my office got cold. And I'm like, my first week there, I'm like, what did I do? What terrible mistake did I make with my career?
Sure.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't. Yeah.
Very, very well.
JMI probably the most prolific motorsports sponsoring agency in the history of
I mean, and keep in mind, when I joined in 04, Zach wasn't anybody.
Right.
He had just convinced NASCAR to break the spirits barrier and allow Crown Royal to race.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I joined him just as that happened.
And
so he didn't have a name yet.
Now you look at it and go, wow, look at. I mean, I read a thing by Zach, an interview maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and it said 7 years ago McLaren had 5 sponsors. Now McLaren has 48 sponsors. And they said, Zach, what? And I'm telling you, I'm following through. That's why we're doing the show. I'm following through with this 100%. They said, Zach, what was the difference? And Zach said, I stopped looking at the race team like a race team and started looking at it as a media company.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that's the difference.
Yes.
And I was like, so, for whatever little we can do on that regard.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Well, and I'll tell you, too, he's playing 3D chess. I mean, he's not just going, don't you want to be with McLaren because we're cool? He solves business problems.
Yeah. It's amazing. The guy's a genius.
He is.
And not a lot of backside training either.
None.
I mean, he wasn't a great student and didn't like school at all.
Hated school, but he's wicked smart. He's one of the smartest people I've ever been around, and absolutely the fastest thinker. I mean, there were times I told him, like, dude, slow down. I got to catch up with you. Where are we going? So brilliant. I mean, if he cared about school, he could have gone to Wharton Business School. He just didn't care. He wanted to race.
Yeah. Well, and it shows. It's just amazing what he's done. I mean, again, he might be a little brash in some of his moves. And we know he's not very nurturing. I'm sorry, but anyway, hey, Wes, hang in there for just a second. We're gonna take a break and pay some bills here.
You got
this segment is brought to you by Speed Sport 1. Racing fans, if you want to stay plugged into the action, there's only one place to go, speedsport.com, speedsport1.com. For breaking news, in-depth features of live coverage of events across motorsports, Speed Sport is your all-access pass. Whether it's IndyCar, NASCAR, dirt tracks, drag strips, power boats, Speed Sport brings you the stories, the highlights, and drama right to you. So don't miss a lap. Visit speedsport.com or tune in to speedsport1.com for your home everything in racing. All right. We're with Wes Zirkle. Wes has been a friend for a number of years and has been our attorney, and he's many other people's attorney. And is racing a different, I mean, is it as nuanced as it seems it can be from a law practice perspective, or is it just another business?
No, it's probably more nuanced. I teach at Indiana Law as an adjunct professor, and a lot of my students come in, oh, how do I get in sports? How do I get in sports? What's the deal? It's like, there's sports, listen, it's just law. There is no such thing as sports law.
Oh, okay.
What it is, I say in broad categories, but it's law as applied to particular industry, and I would say in particular political environment.
Yes.
And that's what makes the business of motorsports so interesting, is you're not doing anything in a vacuum. You're doing it amongst this entire industry, and even rolling all the way up to FIA. I mean, it's all interconnected. And so, yes, there's political issues you need to think about. There are unique issues to motorsport with law, and it is a difficult thing, frankly, to jump in and just say, oh, I'm a fan, I understand this, I'm going to go in and do deals, because there's a lot in the corners that you have to be aware of and pay attention to. And I could get really, really deep. That's probably not a podcast. But
I don't think people understand. And I've always said this. What I came to learn since 2015 is there's really three aspects to racing. There's the sport aspect of it itself. There's the business aspect of it. And then there's the political aspect of it. And and I'm not talking about Republican Democrat.
No.
So you've got to maneuver through that. I think you have to understand those are three distinct aspects, and you have to operate with all three of them. And you have to hire people like good attorneys to help you through the business side, but you need to know how to navigate those waters if you're going to get anywhere.
And there's no question. I mean, it's you can't make, this is too small of a community to make a lot of people mad.
Right.
Listen, you can have disagreements, but you need to, in my belief, approach it like a gentleman. Explain yourself. Don't backstab people. Be straightforward. Because it's too small. Mm-hmm. You can't burn bridges in this industry. So you really need to be mindful of what you're doing and how your advice might affect the political culture of the sport.
You can't burn bridges, and I'm kind of brash at times. I'm pretty aggressive with stuff, but I don't burn bridges. So I'm happy people still answer my calls. You're okay if you can still talk to people. Once they stop calling you back or they won't take your call, you're pretty much on the outside looking in. So we're grateful for that. Yeah. But you want to talk about supercharged politically. So Cadillac just announces that they've got their two drivers locked down, Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. And I'm a little surprised that their team principal operator, Christian Horner, I thought there was such bad blood when he left, and like behavioral issues. I mean, it's shocking for me that Cadillac went that direction, because their legacy brand, and they put $400 million into this play, and what do you think about that from a political?
I'll tell you, I think you kind of said it. I can't verify it was 400 million or $1 billion. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you need someone to protect that investment who knows what they're doing. And listen, I don't know Christian personally. I don't know what he did or didn't do, but I do know that he took Red Bull from nothing to champion.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm sure that Cadillac F1's got to be thinking very seriously in terms of who's the available team principals out there. It's
a short list.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and again, who knows? Because as you say, I don't know him. I've never even met him. So, some of what could be out there talked about is people mad because he's just tough. He's a tough business guy. He no nonsense, do it, get fired, whatever. And then people have an axe to grind, and who knows what comes out of that. So we don't know. But with all of the press that's come out about him over the last 6-8 months, I was stunned. I was like, oh my gosh. But then when you say, who can do it? Who has the ability to do that, right? I can't. They're not going to hire me for that position, So
well, we just spoke about the politics of IndyCar. F1 is exponentially more complex, because even you've got a pretty heavy Middle Eastern involvement, which they have their own culture and ways of working, and it's not insignificant that you need when you're dealing with a global sport like Formula One. You have to be culturally aware, globally aware of how you approach business and how you speak with constituents. And it's a really short list that can do that and run an F1 team.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I felt bad when the whole Michael Andretti thing happened, and he ended up leaving, and but thinking about it though, maybe it's that same kind of thing. F1's a whole nother world. There's karting, there's quarter midget racing, there's sprint car, right? IndyCar, and then like 500 million feet above IndyCar is F1. So maybe Michael just wasn't the person to shepherd that, and the only way it could work is asking him to step aside. I don't know. I felt bad about it, but I understand it. I think I don't know all the details, but I think I understand it.
I'm with you. Yeah, I obviously don't know what happened, but that's a big deal move, and I hear that Michael got a really nice check, and so it was a decision that the team felt was right, and it's I'm sure a hard decision, but I think they made a big bet, and it was stalling a little bit when Michael was at the helm, and so they made
we got about 2 minutes left, Wes. Thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate your time. Welcome. I know you're always running 180 miles an hour. So let's go back to Christian.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, the name and I love him as well, but it's performance. The name Colton Herta was out there as a potential F1 driver. And there was the he didn't have his F1 super license, all the other stuff. But unfortunately for Colton, there's Alex Palou. And Alex has had a year for the ages. He's already in just a very short amount of time tied, looking at, the Andretti, Unser, Foyt kind of numbers, 4 championships in 5 years, 3 straight. I mean, he's going to stand out as one of the all-time best already at such a young age. And now there's rumors floating around that Red Bull is looking to sign Colton next to Max. I say I feel bad for Colton because I wish Colton could have got the Cadillac job, but I understand why not. But I feel like, what, if Alex goes to F1, could Christian become the next Alex?
Well,
that's what I'm hoping.
Cheers, my friend.
I'm hoping that's going to happen.
I do too. I can tell you, in all honesty, what we watched this weekend, we're going to see more of that. Yeah. He is special. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend and client.
No, I get it.
He became my client because when I took him, I can't work with drivers.
Right.
He was the exception that then opened the floodgates, frankly. But
I mean, it's hard. You're out there trying to find money for your clients. I mean, it's a hard process, isn't it? It's not easy at all.
No, it's extremely hard.
It's not for the faint-hearted, and many have tried and many have failed.
Yes.
So, well,
but I think we're going to see more from Rasmussen next year. It's going to be really thrilling.
Good. I can't wait. Hey, listen, I hope you're going to be around in September. I'm thinking about coming out for the IMSA race at the
Yeah, I'll be here. I've actually already got meetings scheduled with the track. So
good. Okay, wonderful. All right. So maybe we can touch base when I see you out there.
Of course.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your support, your friendship, your professional guidance. Thank you for everything you do. And again, I'm so happy for you and Christian and Ed. Just a fabulous weekend, and couldn't have been any better. So,
well, thank you so much, Will. It just means a lot, and happy to join you anytime, my friend.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good one. See
hey, everybody, Wes Zirkle. We're excited to have him always. All right, we promised you this was happening. I don't know, Alex is our mystery guest at 4:55 out there. All right, let's see. Let me just text him. Let's see. Maybe he'll be able to jump in here for a moment. Anyway, so when we finish up here, we're gonna take a few minute break, and then I'm changing my uniform. I'm not, but I'm going to be co-hosting on Race Central program with Kurt Hansen. Kurt's going to be the host. I'm the co-host. And it's his show, and so we run that show. We're going to go to about 5:30 today with that show, and that's going to be live on Kurt Hansen's social media channels. It's also going to be on his Facebook page. You go to racecentral.com. It'll be live on his website. And okay, we're thinking we're going to get a slight preview from Kurt. So we'll just hold on for. Kurt's got what a background. Kurt's a racer himself, high levels of racing, been a broadcaster for many, many years, and he knows a lot. And so I was like, when I heard the opportunity, I was like, wow, what a great opportunity for me to learn from a master. And so we're happy to work with Kurt on this. And let's see, where is he out there? We talked about trying to do some crosstalk, so we wanted to have him come on. Can you send Kurt a new link, Alex? I don't know if that's the problem, but for some reason he's in that continual circle pattern with the link. It's not quite happening there. Let's see. So anyway, at about 5:05, we'll be coming back with Race Central Unplugged. Kurt Hansen, Will Marotti's co-host, and you can catch that on racecentral.com. You can catch it on his YouTube channel, Race Central Kurt Hansen. Just type in Race Central Kurt Hansen. It'll show you all things that will come up, and we'll be very happy if you'll tune in. And I'm excited about it because we have a good time. The banter is enjoyable. I can promise you that right now. Unfiltered on Kurt's end, but the banter is enjoyable. Hey, listen. All right, we're gonna get going here, I guess. So stay tuned. Go to KurtHansen.com, KurtHansenRaceCentral.com, and we'll see you in a few minutes on Race Central Unplugged with Kurt Hansen, co-hosted by Will Marotti. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next week. Great show next week. 2 drivers coming on next week. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. See you then.